Okay, so in order to complete this assignment, you're going to need to do a little bit of research with regard to different cars that you would potentially want to purchase. Obviously, it's important to use realistic figures here, so I've included a bunch of different links for your reference. One of my favorite sites for shopping for cars is this cargurus.com site. So essentially what you do is you put in the make and model of the car. You can do used or new. Either way, it's going to give you a variety of different cars that suit this make and model selection. So I'll do like the Chrysler Town and Country, which is the van that I bought in 2006 that I sold. But anyways, if I click on here, it's going to tell me straight out, here's some of the newer models. The 2016s aren't on here. Maybe they stopped making it. Anyways, and then it will give me older versions of the actual car. When I click on it and I scroll down a little bit, it's going to give me all the information that I need to complete this activity, including the pricing, the mileage that's on it, and the gas mileage that I can expect to get from this vehicle, which are data points that you need to fill this out. There are two different sheets. The first one is my example that you can refer to. This is the sheet, the complete this sheet, that you will need to complete. The yellow cells are cells that have or need your input in this area, and also in this area they will calculate based on your input here. So if I'm buying a 2015 Chrysler Town and Country, and it's going to cost me $15,000, I believe is what it was on there. It's going to fill in and calculate all of that for me. Now, to explain, your depreciation typically is about 70% over 5 years. So the car will be worth only 30% of what you paid for it in 5 years on average. The insurance, I use the average Massachusetts insurance. Keep in mind you're a new driver, so your insurance rate is probably higher, but to simplify this, I just went with the state average. The Mass State sales tax is calculated very straightforward. It's 6.25% of your purchase price. So in order to register this vehicle in the state of Massachusetts, they would expect $937 to pull that off. The annual excise tax is based on the year of the vehicle and a configuration. The newer ones, it's 90% of the value, and you charge $25 per thousand. If you take a look at this link here, I'll explain it to you, but that's how that's calculated. This cell is just what I paid for it, plus my insurance, plus my sales tax, plus my annual excise tax to get me to this figure. Now, in order to figure out how much it's going to cost me for fuel and oil changes, I need to complete this part of the document. If I drive about 8,000 miles per year, which is my typical, I can plug that value in, and the oil change is just based on about an average of $30 per oil change, and most cars recommend you change the oil at least every 5,000 miles. If you use different type of oil, like synthetic, you get more mileage and so forth, but again, I simplified it so that you can kind of get some real numbers in front of your face. If I come over to here and I plug in the gas mileage here, 17 miles in the city, 25 on the highway, in the actual assignment, this fuel estimates link is going to tell you how much money it's going to cost you per year for gas. Now, again, you want to input the same amount of miles that you drive. If you plan on buying a car and keeping it for 5 years, this really doesn't matter for this exercise, but it is cool to find out how much it would cost you over 5 years. You want to go ahead and change the mileage to be whatever you estimate to drive each year, and change it for city and highway. So for the Town and Country van that I put in the example, it's 17 and 25. I'm usually driving in the city about most of the time, so I'm going to go 85 and 15, and then you just click calculate. And this is how much it would cost me on average for my gasoline with these figures in place. So I'm going to go ahead and put 797 here. The miles per gallon would be 17 in the city and 25 on the highway, and then it will automatically populate these cells to tell me. For the first year, if I were to pay for the car outright, it would be $18,760 to drive this car. What you're going to do next is the older car that's a 2013 or older, fill in the blanks as noted. The calculations will occur in these cells. You want to take into account what the city and highway mileage per gallon ends up being based on the specs of the car. And all of these cells will calculate for you. So you can take a true look at the true cost of ownership for a brand new car versus an older car. Now, this is as meaningful as you make it. I would strongly recommend that you choose cars that you can afford, and you choose cars maybe that you're driving right now just to kind of see how much it's going to cost you over this point in time. And by all means, take a look at some of these other links for some references to find out the worth of your car and so forth and so on. Have fun. Make sure you turn it in via the Google Classroom site. Bye.